Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day champions and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Round 11 team lists are in for today, so we're going to have a bit of a look at that. Round 10, bit of a chaotic week. Every man and his dog seems to be going down with a hamstring injury, soft tissue injuries. We've got HIAs coming in this week, which is really, really affecting some of our sides. I'm sure there's some teams out there that have absolutely copped it this week with the team lists. Bit of a formalities from last week, round 10. Congratulations to Jerome, coach of Nico's Hairline. He got 1,359 points. He topped 40-20 for the week. Well done, mate. Congratulations to Brendan and his side, the Burgerlators. He is atop of the 40-20 Cup. He has got 11,625 points, sitting 96 overall. Fantastic effort from you, mate. For us, the Ferrets, 1,233 points for the week. Moves us up into 354th overall. So we are flying 10th in the 40-20 Cup as well. So that shows how much competition we've got in that, which is really good to see. Interesting week from us. We were planning on making no trades. First couple of games, Tommy Turbo goes down, Cleary goes down. Then the news of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck being out and Kai Pearce-Paul being benched. Obviously, Dylan Lucas winning that edge role with Tyson Frizzell for the Knights there. I just knew straight away with the Tommy Turbo and the Nathan Cleary injuries that I was going to have to make some trades. Didn't really want to walk into this week with having 4 or 5 people that I wasn't happy with, so I switched those trades. Ended up going Roger Tuivasa-Sheck out on Saturday. I made that trade, pulled him out for Dom Young, which was massive. I never envisaged that was going to happen as well as what it did, so that was really positive. And then Kai Pearce-Paul ended up trading him out for Britton Nirakora. So a bit of an interesting one because he still got 41, Kai Pearce-Paul, but Nikora, he got 55 in base, basically. So I'm a bit nervous now that Kai Pearce-Paul has been named on the bench, but there is a bit of rumours around Tyson Frizzell having a bit of a hamstring injury. Still, the potential to rest him, but hopefully not. And we see Kai Pearce-Paul come off the bench for us. But owners, that'll be one to watch. We will get into that later. Just a quick one. Had a couple of guys in our private league that we run. Got a bit stuck with injuries and whatnot. Happened for me as well, but I couldn't have anything to do with it because I was sort of hoping to captain Nico Hines, so I had him in my starting. But for those playing at home, there is no difference between your reserve players and your starting players. If you have an out-and-out gun playing later in the week and a bloke that you're planning on playing in your 17 anyway, put the person who's playing later on in the week on your reserves. Put the purple dot on them. Means nothing. They get the same points. It just means that if, in case of an injury, like what happened to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, he was in my reserves, was able to trade him out, put Dom Young in, and ended up 160 points better. So just a little shout for players at home that don't really understand what that is. Reserves, exact same amount of points scored, doesn't affect their scores. Chuck the reserves on the guys that are later on in the week, because if there is injuries and there is issues, whatever happens, people get done in the warm-up and that you can flick them out and you can be better off for it and you can potentially not have an AE nightmare sort of thing going on or get you an auto emergency, that is. But anyway, we will get stuck into the week. Like I said, 354th, we're super happy with how we're travelling. Just the trades, we've got to start saving some trades. Usually I'm a set and forget sort of bloke when we have our fullbacks there, but this year I am up to about 5 or 6 trades in my fullbacks just because of the injuries. I had no interest in trading Turbo out, but, a bit of bad luck strikes there. Anyway, the Friday game, we'll get straight into it. The Raiders coming fresh off a bye into the Dogs. The Dogs, bloody hell, they are... If I was a Doggies fan, I'd be pretty impressed with that effort against the Penrith Panthers. They really took it to them. Some good scores as well coming in for Supercoach. Usually against Penrith, it's a barren wasteland, but there's a couple of guys there that we'll talk about that looked really good, really positive signs. For the Raiders, Not a great deal going on with their back seven. KO Weeks is a bit of an option. He's got a low break even. Although with the Nathan Cleary injury, I think most people will be looking for a bit more stability and probably someone who will be guaranteed to score upwards of 60, 70 every week sort of thing. Look, he's a good option if you're looking to downgrade for money, but I think there is that many issues going on this week. We will probably need to look elsewhere, I believe. For the forward pack, that is as similar the last couple of weeks. Morgan Smithy's still there in the 13 jersey. Look, I'm going to keep Morgan Smithy's until the bye rounds are over, I believe. His bye coverage is really, really good, so that's, it's only a promising sign from him. I don't see a world where he goes down in price, up in price. I think he'll hover around the 500k sort of mark, which is plenty good to be able to ship him off to a gun after Origin period is all over. There's not a great deal going on there. Danny Levi is one that a lot of people were looking to sort of trade out and sort of move on, but he's just, I can't move him on. He's 331k, break even of 25%, 25 points. Every world he goes 15, but some of these games he's got such a dominant forward pack, he could easily make 20 tackles and set up a try there. So we'll leave Danny Levi in. I just don't see anyone else that we can go to him. Maybe look at a JMK, Jeremy Marshall-King towards round 16-ish, but I'm just going to leave him in and take whatever points he gives me. So yeah, not a great deal going on there. Geordie Rapana comes in at fullback. Nick Kotrick's there, but again, his base is quite low. You don't really want to touch that. There's probably better options out there. For the doggies, Jacob Kiraz gets 100 last week against a Penrith outfit. Look, he looked really, really good. I'm not an owner. I saw that he went down a little bit. Looked like a calf injury sort of thing. But I thought, he's done, he's cooked. But it ended up coming out, got a couple of line breaks there and a nice little junk try at the end. So he's 690k. He's probably someone that you can look at getting in at round 13. Break even still 67, so no sweat getting him this week. He's gone up 85k from last year, which is really good. I think that's coincided with him being on the wing the last couple of weeks. His scores have been really good coming onto the wing. We all know that's his best position. So yeah, his run is relatively easy coming up. Canberra, St George, Newcastle, Parramatta are the next couple of games. Plays round 13 and 14. Look, he's a decent option. He's a decent option. The last couple of games, the Tigers, he got a 48, but he's got two 100s out of the last three games of his rolling average. I cannot fault if you wanted to go to Jacob Kiraz. He is a bit of a cheaper option for these gun guys that are sort of floating around, probably a little bit higher price and a lot less base as well. So you do get those games of 40, but every CTW has the games of 40. It's he's a different beast when he is in CTWs. He got 37 points just in runs, which is phenomenal to see from Jacob Kiraz. Can't fault him. I've got too many fires that I need to snuff out before I even think about putting Kiraz in. Plus my CTW is pretty strong as it stands. Bronson Cherry, I'm not 100% convinced on him. 60, 70 points when he scores a try and a line break, so one to watch. Matty Burton, he has been making me sleepless nights, but I think I'm going to dodge him just because I think there's a lot of chat around Origin. I think he's the best number 6 there. If Cleary is out, I know there's a lot of talk about Moses and Hines potentially being there, but Moses, we'll have to see how he goes. He's only going to have 2 weeks before potentially getting an Origin jersey, so a big ask for him. Plus, we've seen him in Origin before, and it isn't the greatest viewing. Hasn't really performed at that level. He's had a bit of a crack. Birdo, you could sort of say the same, but he seems to be really, really fitting into a groove down that left-hand edge. 762k. He's got a break even of 85. So look, we're not too worried about the break evens and that with these guys that we're talking up around 700-800k. We are more talking about the output of points. Averaging 69 points for the year. Nice. Apart from the first 3 rounds, he went 15, 50, and 35, which is diabolical. I think that's turned everyone off him. Since round 5 against the Roosters, he got 147. Against Melbourne, he got 79. Newcastle, Tigers, Penrith. His lowest score in all three of those games was 73 with an 80 against Penrith. Goal kicking, he's every bit an option if you can afford him. If you are thinking Nathan Cleary to Birdo, and you're all but set for Origin, you might already have these 12, 13 players there. Even 11, if you've got 11 already, I'd consider it. I'll probably be looking elsewhere just because I want to get another guy in, and I can't afford him, but still, he looks the goods. Max King, Reid Marnie, and Sam Hughes come into the front row there. Now, look, Sam Hughes is one of the most traded out this week. I think he is 9th or 10th traded out. I cannot believe that. 411k. Yeah, he's probably topped in price. His break-even's 50. If people are thinking about they're going to lose money on this guy, I wouldn't worry about it. Round 13, he plays that. Like we said, round 13, 14 against easy opposition. His minutes are growing. If you have held him this long, I don't see a world where you are thinking of getting him out. Look, getting about 36 minutes, tick over 1 point per minute. So I'll be leaving Sam Hughes. I wouldn't be trading him out unless you're thinking of going him to a gun. Then yeah, sure. And if they have that coverage, Joshy Curran coming off the bench. Now he's only been getting 40 to 45 minutes, sort of thing, the last 2 weeks. I think that's where he's at. I think now that Sam Hughes is getting a bit more minutes, they're sort of trusting him a little bit more. Very concerning because I would prefer him to be up around that 50 to 60 mark, but I just don't think he's going to be that sort of person for the Doggies this year. I think they've got a bit more trust in Sam Hughes. They've also got Jacob Preston coming off the bench. Bailey Howard has been really, really good for the Doggies coming in at that sort of 13 man there. He's been really impressive. Hasn't looked a place out of first grade. For the next game, the Seagulls up against the Broncos. Look, this is huge news that Tommy Turbo, again, done his hammy. I'm sure everyone is all over that. Looks to be out for about 8 weeks, so he is a sell. We need to jump off Tommy. Shattering for Blues. I'm a Blues supporter. No Nathan, no Tommy Trbojevic. Very, very concerning. So, look, you just got to take the hits, I suppose. But anyway, Tommy Turbo out, gone for 8 weeks. So we'll reassess there, and we'll come back. I'll get on to who I'm sort of putting in for him. One guy I want to talk about is Talatau Kula. Now, at the end of last year, he absolutely fucking brained it in fullback. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about with him being in the fullback position there is that he brained it up against very, very easy opposition. So people might see scores from last year and go, holy, but just cool the jets a little bit. 125 and 188 last year. It was against the Dogs, who were decimated, and the Tigers, who were wooden spooners. Bit of a different beast coming up against Brisbane Broncos. I think I would want to give it a week before getting anywhere near him at that price. 470, it's a good price. Look, he could be an option for maybe round 14 if we have a week or two there. Break even still 53 at 470k. I think he's a bit of a leave, and we can have a little assess of him in the next couple of weeks. Vega gets the wing spot there with Talau going into the centres. Ruben Garrick, very disappointing. He didn't get the fullback role, but in that game last week, Talatau Kula did go back to fullback, so I wasn't expecting him to get it. Brooksy. Again, didn't trade him out of my side. Still got him there. Probably going to work out okay over the Origin period. I've come too far with him now. I think I'm going to keep him for Origin and see what happens. Hamal Olakawadu, he comes back into the fold. I wouldn't be getting on him in the next couple of weeks. I think he's every chance that he plays second row for the Blues. So he's probably going to avoid. Ben Trbojevic pumps out a 45. Do not buy this man, but if you held him, well done. Good super coaching. For the Broncos, Reece Walsh near cracks 100. Awesome to see the goal kicking there coming for him. We talked about it yesterday. If you are looking to buy someone, Reece Walsh, probably not now with Origin. You probably get 2 games out of him, and then you've got to put up with him. Although his buy schedule for being in Origin is really, really handy to have as a backup fullback there with a guy that doesn't play Origin. 681k, still very, very cheap. He's at a discount of 131k from last year. 68 break even, so the break even isn't a drama. Looks really good. Sea Eagles this week into the Titans. Then he will have the bye into the Sharkies coming back off. Yeah, look, he covers around 14, 15, 17. I expect him to back up from Origin. You know, he's a young fella. He'll be wanting to put his best foot forward. Kevy does have a bit of a thing with resting these guys, so it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. Like I said, pair him with a guy. If you've got him, make sure you're pairing them with a guy that doesn't play Origin or you think isn't going to play Origin. Bit hard to guess. But anyway, a 93 from him last week was really good to see. Again, everyone talks about his base being right down, but 16 points in goal kicking. If we can get that out of him every week, that is pretty much what we're trying to chase for Reece Walsh. Although his hit-ups were up. He got 22 points in runs last week. So maybe we talked about this, Adam Reynolds being out, he gets a little bit more ball, forced to run the ball a little bit more, and, you know, forced to do a little bit extra, which is good. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Jock Madden comes back into the side. I'm not looking at him. He's too expensive. Payne Haas had a really good week, although Origin coming up. He's in the 70s. Hopefully we can pick him up at the end of Origin period. He gets a bit of a breather, and we run with Dare. Brendan Piakura, it is time to get off. Only 55 minutes on the weekend. Jack Gajewski is coming in and stealing his minutes. I don't know if that's a thing. I am not the greatest Jack Gajewski fan. I do not understand why you wouldn't just leave Brendan Piakura out there, who was an attacking option every day of the week. Jack Gajewski's a bit of meat and potatoes. Just does his business and then gets about it. But yeah, that's what's going on with him. I would be looking at jumping off Brendan Piakura, trying to move him on for someone else. All right. The first of the Saturday games is the Titans up against the Knights. Titans, huge victory for them last week. I was so happy to see that. The Cows, they're in dire straits, but it was really good to see a bit of the last couple of weeks, actually, a lot of defensive efforts from the Titans. Try-saver upon try-saver. Jojo Fafita coming up with that ripper against Val Holmes. Val Holmes will be spewing. I'll tell you what, if I was in the dressing sheds, he would have got a mouthful because he robbed me 17 points, the big fella. But anyway, they are absolutely decimated with injuries this week. They look like a reserve grade side, basically, but coming up against my Newcastle Knights, they'll probably put a score on them. So we'll see what happens there. We've got Keanu Kinney there at fullback. I would not be looking at him. I don't know how long that lasts. We do have Campbell to come back, so not sure what's going on with his injury, but he'll be back in the next couple of weeks. So Keanu Kinney, I wouldn't be touching. Aaron Shoup comes in for... who did he come in for? There's everyone down here. Harley Smith-Shields, he's out for him. The halves of Chris Randall and Sam Verrills is one of the most chaotic half partners you will ever see. Look, I expect a lot of work from their forwards, maybe not a lot of ball shifting going on. It'll be a very, very mundane Titans side that will just be doing basics. I presume. Desi might have something else in fold. Chris Randall, he did play in the halves in the juniors, but interesting to see what will happen there. Jamin Jolliffe, David Fafita, once again, we captained him last week. Really, really positive from him. Like, he just looks, he loves getting into dummy half and burrowing. Vossi comes out and says it every week. When you know David Fafita is going into dummy half, he is not looking to pass. He's just too big. He's too strong. You cannot stop it. He looks really good. You know, he's going to waltz on in to Origin period, being up near $1 million. So potential sell. I'll be trying to hold on to him, I think, if I can. The way he's been playing this year, if he gets 50 minutes, he may score 50 points for my team. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, other than that, not a great deal going on. Beau Fermor, he's ticking along nicely. Probably expect to see a little bit more ball. Just with the halves, I think they'll just play very forward dominant, which, look, I think that's their strength anyway. So don't count the Titans out. The side looks a little bit iffy, but we'll see what happens. David Armstrong for the Knights. We'll jump onto them. David Armstrong, really good. 68 from him. Look, could have potentially been a whole lot more if Greg Marzu didn't have feet for hands. He is $299K. I do not think it's too late to get on. There's a lot of talk about this Fletcher Sharp that's coming through the grades. He is in the extended team lists, but look, with the way he's been playing, I don't think he'll get a look in. He's gone up 95K, break even of 0, guaranteed to make you money as long as he gets on the field and doesn't do a Dom Young and gets sent off. Also with a 68 in his rolling average now, you can sort of expect some good scores to come out. After this week, he will have that 25 against the Warriors, which was just in the wet, diabolical sort of conditions. That'll drop out, which will be really good for him. David Armstrong, get him in your CTWs. Plays round 13. Got the bye coming up next week, but I wouldn't worry about that. A bit going on there. Bradman Best went absolutely off his head against a bloody poor old defensive effort from the Tigers there. They couldn't handle him. They couldn't handle him on that right-hand edge for the Tigers there. Their defence was scrappy. Brett Naden, he will be having nightmares of the beast for the next couple of weeks, no doubt. Oh, shit. Sorry about that, everyone. I've lost my mic. Dane Gagai kicking goals. Probably better off not kicking goals. He's very unorthodox in the kicking department, but still. He's been pumping out some good scores. He may be one to look in round 13. Greg Marzu with an 87. Look, it could have been a lot more. Could have been so much more. Dave Armstrong, look, he's look, I'm not putting him in the same category as Reece Walsh. There's no debating that, but his ability to keep skipping out onto the left-hand side of the opposition, which what he did, set up Greg Marzu for the first one, should have set him up for another one, but Greg couldn't catch it. It was a bit of a wayward pass as well, but so Greg Marzu is $515K. I think that is as low as he's ever going to get. $274,000 discount. His break-even is 17, so this is probably the weekend to jump on, although he does have the buy in round 12. You can probably leave it a week. But yeah, look, his runs are back. This kid, David Armstrong, he, like I said, has that ability to skip out onto the left-hand edge. Obviously, no one can recreate what Ponga does on that left-hand edge, but if he can get even close to that with Greg Marzu's base, I think he's every bit an option. His runs have been down, though, the last couple of weeks. 26 points in runs, but again, the last 2 weeks, he's got 22 points in tackle busts against the Warriors and 16 points in tackle busts against the Tigers. So the beast may be back. Might have recovered from that little hand injury that he had, so it's good to see. Cogger comes into the halves. Jaden Brayley, he got 50 again. Look, I'd be happy to have him sitting there if you've got him, but I probably would not be looking at buying him in. But yeah, he's a decent option there. One I want to talk about is Dylan Lucas. Now, it seems as though he has won the edge role for the Knights there, which is good to see. He's a very good defender. $620K. He's gone up 118 for the year. He has a break even of 80. Look, his scores over the last couple of weeks have been really, really good. He got a 49 on the weekend in the wet, so you can sort of excuse that. But averaging 60 points, he's a decent option if you're looking for someone that you can have that dual. That's the most important part. We have these guys like Ben Trebojevic that you can have in the dual CTW second row, but if you want a premium guy that can do that, he's not, I wouldn't say premium, but if you want a guy that you can count on and play in your team, put him in your 17 every week, I think he's probably one of the best options. His defense is really good. His work rate is really good. Without scoring a try, he's averaging around 55 points. So can't fault it. Only the 26 tackles on the weekend, but before that, he has averaged 44 tackles a game. So gets through a mountain of work. Takes a lot of runs as well. 24 points in runs, which is really good to see. So look, it's a luxury trade if you can do it, but one to look out for round 13. If you're looking just for a set and forget 60 points for round 13, he's probably your guy. Kai Pearce-Paul. Now, we have got to start talking about Kai Pearce-Paul. I jumped off him this weekend. $557K, so he's very well priced. He's made a lot of money. He's made $212,000. His break even is sitting at 79. Not a must to get rid of. I think he's still going to get 40 minutes. What happened was Frizzell went into the middle. Kai Pearce-Paul came onto the edge. I'm unsure if that was due to an injury or not in the middle, but I think that was when Gamble went off, actually. They sort of forced a bit of a change around there. Phoenix went in the halves. Frizzell went into lock. I'd be leaving it another week if you can. I still think if he gets 35, 40 minutes, he'll score 40 points. So it won't be drastic change. You can probably get him out next week if you need to. Just see how that middle rotation goes. There's also a bit of concern about Tyson Frizzell's hamstring injury. Apparently that possibly has flared up again. So one to watch. Sharks Roosters. Nicho Hynes is named in the side. Their 1-7 is exactly the same as named as last week. Daniel Atkinson, he is near bottom dollar. As long as Nicho Hynes jumps into this squad, I don't think he's a viable option. Only 30s sort of scores from him. He got a 60-something on the weekend, but still, I am more inclined to leave him out than buy him in because of the Nicho Hynes factor. Thing we need to watch with Nicho Hynes is that Braden Trindle has been named in the reserves. Apparently, there's a bit going on there with his court case, so he could potentially be the one that comes in for him. If Nicho Hynes isn't 100%, they're flying, the Sharkies. I don't think they'll play him. So just one to watch there. Other than that, Britt Nakora, we bought him in. I think he's really well priced. Look, it wasn't something that set the world on fire, and I know over the next couple of weeks he's going to be a bit average, but he's 100% not playing Origin, so I thought bring him in and we'll use the money for good use. Other than that, Kyle Iro just keeps pumping out. Base stat, absolute phenomenon. Really impressed with what he's done. It is a splitting image of Valentine Holmes of what he's doing. I'd love it if he was kicking goals, but then again, that would take it away from Nicho, so probably best not to do that. Other than that, there isn't a great deal going on. Tommy Hazelton has been absolutely blitzing it. Now scored a 60 in basically base. Before he was playing 25 minutes, getting 60 with a try. Now he seems to be getting the big minutes there. Just looks super impressive. Cam McInnes as well. He got an 80. With the retirement of Dale Finucane, he has gone from strength to strength. Cannot fault if you want to get Cam McInnes in, but there's way too much talk about him getting into the Origin arena for my liking. For the Chookies, Tedesco at the back. Now, there's a lot of talk. Round 5, I didn't have Teddy in my Origin team. Now it is, I think the conversation needs to be had that he's probably going to end up there. For me, I'm not sure if he does or he doesn't. But the Chooks are absolutely smoking teams. Teddy's been pretty instrumental in those wins as well. His ball playing has improved. He's back with that. His work rate is phenomenal. We all know that. But it'll be hard to drop the captain, I think. As poor as his form was in Origin last year, I do think it'll be a bit of a tough ask to drop him coming into this season. Just with his form's good. His form, forget Supercoach, his rugby league form has been really, really good. So I probably see him being the number one now. Especially if they do a number on the Sharkies. If they do a number on the Sharks, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. He'll be there. Joey Manu is out. He got a late little head knock there towards the back end of the game. It was the last 5 minutes or maybe even close to the end there for him. He is out. He's a hold, really good option for the round 13. I've been death riding him all year, hoping that he gets down back to those 50, 60 games. It's just not happening. A headache for people who have him, but we'll see how they go there. Polga comes into the centres. Dom Young, massive from Big Dom. 684k, again, it breaks my heart every time I see him get on a breakaway. My poor old 90s, geez, we could use him on the edge at the moment, but 684k has a break even of minus 31. So, yep, 100%. Still jump on him. He looks really, really good. The draw is handy. The buy schedule as well is super, super handy. You've got the Sharks this week, maybe a bit of a tough matchup. So don't expect miracles against him this week. The Sharks are flying. Then goes into the Raiders and the Cowboys. Has round 14 off, but then goes 15, 16, 17, 18. 19 doesn't play, but then he backs up for 20. And then he is home and hose for the rest of the season. A buy in round 23. But anyway, we'll get into that later. Yeah, like I said, traded him in for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck right at the death. I never in a million years thought he was going to go 160. I was a little bit nervous about putting him in as well. But yeah, look, just lucky. Manifested it, I would say. It was meant to be. Luke Keary. No, sorry, we're not going Luke Keary. We're going to go Sam Walker. Sam Walker, 682. He's one of the most traded in. Cleary out for Sam Walker. Look, it's a good bet. I think it's a very good bet. Has a break-even of 78. He has 682k. He has gone up 72k for the year already. Bit of a tough one against the Sharkies this week. Probably don't expect these monster scores that he's been getting. He's just a bit too up and down for me. A bit too up and down for my liking. 172 against the Dragons, 40 against the Broncos, which is a bit disheartening to see because they did score 40 points to get them. For him to only get 40 with all those goal kicking, a bit unfortunate. But a 95 on the weekend as well. Look, I'm not into it. I think there's too many games there that are low. I know he's had HIA affected games. If you take those out, there's a 12 and a 3 there. His average probably jumps up a bit, but yeah, look, they are flying, but I'm just a little bit concerned about going into the Origin period. Look, he's a little body, but yeah, look, tricky one. 682k. I'm going to be looking at a bloke that is going to be coming into some duels very soon, which sort of works out a bit better for my team. He isn't kicking goals at the moment, but we will talk about him in the coming teams. He will show up. Sam Walker. Look, if you're going to go Sam Walker, I think it's a good bet. I think he probably over the next couple of weeks, once he gets that little score of 40 out of his rolling average, he could make some money. Then again, every opportunity he goes flying back down. A couple of games at 40 and 50 and you lose some cash out of him. But anyway, Angus Crichton, the gift that keeps on giving. We will have to be watching him. Like I said, chuck him on your reserves. Even though he does play quite early in the round, I would be putting him in my reserves to start the round just because of what came out with what looked like a bit of a foot injury from him. His toes look absolutely purple. Just one to watch. Connor Watson is now on the bench. A lot of people bought him in last week. Brandon Smith named. Look, Connor Watson, if you started with him, well done. But him coming off the bench, probably only sees 35, 40 minutes. Not a sell this week, but I'd be looking at cashing him in, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Terrell May, look, with this, I wish this was the side about bloody 3 weeks ago when I sold him. But 567k, break even of -1. Oh, it's hard viewing. Looked really good on the weekend again. Only got 38 minutes, but got 58 points, got some attacking stats in there. 38 minutes isn't good. The 58 points is fucking awesome. So, look, if you're an owner of Terrell May, just sit tight, hold on to him. He's probably a better option than Joshy Curran is at the moment. I do like the fact that Connor Watson is in that 14. It sort of relieves, Nofua White, Satili Tupanua, Sua Wong, those guys, they aren't here. They aren't going to chew into his minutes. But yeah, the 3 forward bench is good for his. I think he's guaranteed 38, maybe 40 minutes, regardless of what happens. Maybe Jared Wera-Hargraves came back a bit earlier, beat his 300th. But yeah, the Roosters are flying. Good to see they got up for JWH's 300th game as the club, so that was good to see. For the late game on Saturday, the Rabbits against the Cowboys. The Rabbits welcome Alex Johnson back. Look, this is pretty exciting for Cody Walker, I believe, and Latrell Mitchell. Having that guy out on that left-hand edge that is a noted try scorer, he can turn no points into some points. So I want to have a bit of a look. I think round 14 is the round to start looking at these guys. Latrell, I wouldn't be jumping on just yet. Look, there's that many injuries going on with the Blues side. I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't a little bit of a sniff. I think Madge will be having a look at him for Origin. I know he said that he wants to concentrate on the Rabbitohs, but look, I think there's a world where he possibly comes into the squad. Bit unlikely, but there is a possibility. Cody Walker, this is a guy I want to talk about. His break even of 67. He is down to 515k. Gets Alex Johnson back. I think people are going to underestimate how good that is for him. He's not a guy that I generally go to because he usually is about 700k, and I'm a bit worried about his up and down games. But he has got the Cowboys para. Round 13 is the bye for them into the Gold Coast Broncos Manly. I'll be checking in what price he is. If Cody Walker is under 500k, maybe even under 550, I may be looking at going a Luke Brooks to a Cody Walker just for the upside and playing him up against easier oppositions. His scores the last 3 weeks haven't been fantastic, but there's no there's no 20s, there's no 15s involved in there. 66 against Melbourne, 51 against Penrith, and then a 43 against the Dragons. So not awesome viewing, but Cody Walker is definitely one to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks. Other than that, there isn't a great deal going on with those guys. There's just nothing really Supercoach appealing about the Rabbitohs at the moment. For the Cows, Scotty Drinkwater, bit of an underwhelming score for him. The whole Cowboys side was pretty ordinary last week. I think there is a world where we need to start thinking about the Cowboys not being this top 8 side anymore. I think them and the Warriors are probably more than likely not going to make it this year based on their last couple of performances. So, yeah, dropped 138k. His break even is still 67. I expected him to come in and just absolutely brain it over these next couple of weeks with their opposition they have. 96 against the Dolphins the week before, and then only a 59 against the Gold Coast Titans last week. So a bit disappointing. He does play the next handful of games. He plays until round 15. So round 16 is his first bye. So he's still good coverage over the first couple of weeks. Has the Bunnies, Tigers, Roosters in round 13. So they'll be missing some Origin stars, no doubt. Warriors, Canberra, and then into the round 16 bye. So look, if you've got him, I wouldn't be jumping off. I still think there's a world where he starts scoring some good points. Hopefully he can average about 80 to 90. But yeah, the Cowboys just don't seem to be themselves. Another one there that we're going to talk about is Val Holmes. Look, him not scoring that try didn't kill my week, but it sort of put a few question marks into what we do about Valentine Holmes for the next couple of weeks. Like I said, they've got a really, really good run over the next Origin bye period. They've got 11 and 12 coming up against the Bunnies and West, so there's no chance I'm selling him from that. Doesn't play round 13, potentially comes back round 14, 15 against easy opposition again. I think round 16 he will probably be a sell because he has the bye round 16 and 19. So, look, I'll be leaving Val Holmes for the next couple of weeks. He's still super consistent, even if he is getting up around the 60 point every week, you need to stop thinking about cash gen now. We just need to start thinking about points. There's guys that go 120. Those same guys go 40, 30 points, Dom Young's a perfect example. He could every chance he goes 25 to 30 this week if he doesn't get the attacking opportunities. Val Holmes will consistently pump out near 60 points. If he scores that try, it's potentially a couple of tackle busts and 17 points, kicks the goal. It's 20 to 24 points, let's say. It's up around the 80s, and we're not even having a conversation about Val Holmes. He is sold out a little bit this week, but look, I wouldn't be touching that. I think round 16 will be the time to get rid of him. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Helam Lukey comes back into the starting squad. He was in there last week. He will be a guy that I'll be looking for over the next coming weeks. I just want to have a bit more of a look at what his minutes are. Fini Fuiaki, he is coming off the bench now. That's good to see for Helam Lukey owners. He has a break even of 54. Every chance he doesn't get that. He just needs to get some minutes under the legs. Where is he? 54 minutes on the weekend. Yeah, I'm not sure. The first week he played, he got 60 minutes, so maybe that's what they're looking at him as, a 60-minute player, but they could turn him into 80 minutes. Fini Fuiaki's going to the Dolphins next year. Maybe they can turn him into something special. If he keeps going down in price, he's $381,000. In the next couple of weeks, he could nearly be a straight swap for Joey Chan, which I've got sitting on my pine, doing absolutely nothing. So that's probably what I'll be looking at, hopefully the next couple of weeks. Ruben Cotter continues to pump out 60s, really good to see. Thomas McKaylee, he got a start. Look, I reckon he's got himself in Supercoach. He was just throwing absolute speculators of offloads left, right and centre. He's 256k. If you are looking for a downgrade to go onto him, I think you can do worse. Break even of 10. He's probably going to go up in price. His minutes are a bit of a worry, but still. 25 in 17 minutes, 36 in 22 minutes, and then he got 24 minutes on the weekend for 34 points. So if he can get some minutes into the legs, he'll be absolutely flying. I think if there's a game where there's a blowout, they probably leave Taumalolo on the bench a little bit and they will run him. You just cannot pick when that's going to happen, obviously. So, yeah, one to watch. He's on the bench there. If Fini Furiaki, we talked about him, it needs to be a sell. Need to sell him. Hopefully you can move him onto someone with a bit of upside and a bit more game time than what he is going to deliver us. First of the Sunday games, we have the Wars up against the Panthers. The Wars are in for it in this game, I think. Tane Tuapiki comes in. I wouldn't be looking at buying him. There's better options there. But he needs to be looked at a little bit. I am not sure about the outcome of Sean Johnson's injury. We will have a little look at that. I will try and put something up on Instagram as soon as we find out about what's going on with that. Chance Nickel-Klokstad comes into the 6. I don't think he's a sell right now. See how it goes. I think against the Panthers, he would have scored low. Regardless, probably looking at a 30, 40-point game. Nathan Cleary isn't the be-all and end-all of this Panthers squad. We've seen that. I would leave it a week just to see what happens. Tomorrow, Martin in the 7. Ali oh, goodness, sorry about this. Leotawa, I'm not sure how to say that. I haven't even watched him play apart from a trial, so I'm not sure on his name pronunciation. But he could potentially be a cheapie for the next couple of weeks, although it all depends on how long some of these guys are out for. He is 238k. Have a watch. I don't think he's a must to buy. We'll have a look at him. And Fanua Blake keeps going from strength to strength. His minutes he's getting is ridiculous. He has not played under 60 minutes over the last couple of weeks, so really good to see for Fanua Blake owners. I'll be trying to look at, I'm probably thinking round 14, I'm going to buy him in. Maybe trade him out for a Cotter or a Josh Curran. We'll see what the trades and the cash is looking like. Other than that, not a great deal going on there for the Wars. They're in trouble, I think. We need to start thinking about, I said this last week, maybe they're not a top 8 side. With injuries, I don't think they're a top 10 side. It's going to be a real hard view for them, I think. The Panthers, they are without Nathan Cleary, but it just doesn't seem to bother them. Schneider being out, he's been probably underestimated how good he's been playing, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Getting on to our next bloke, Dylan Edwards for the Penrith Panthers. 920k, he is worth an absolute mozza. Going up 215k. Now, look, we need to stop thinking about this with our points. With points, if you are chasing points, stop thinking about how much they cost, how much they're going to go up, how much they're going to go down. We need to start looking at their points. How many points are they going to get? Does Dylan Edwards play fullback? The more I watch Teddy, look, I would have him. For some reason, I just don't think that Madge is going to come in and get rid of the captain. There's a lot of talk about, this side's going to be completely different from what you've seen. Teddy's form has been really good. There's no denying that. I know everyone wanted to jump on it last year. Everyone's saying, he cost us the Origin. He's been very good. Teddy's been very good the last couple of weeks. Dylan Edwards also been very, very good the last couple of weeks. But Teddy's the captain. I am going to take a punt on this, and I am going to move Tom Trbojevic out and Dylan Edwards in. I think that is how I'm travelling. Looking at his scores throughout the year without Nathan Cleary, including last week where it was half a game with Nathan Cleary, he is averaging 102 points without Nathan Cleary. His goal kicking, he is fucking running his tits off. He does have the best base out of any fullback that we have this year. There's no denying that. 41 points in bloody runs last week. And that's not an anomaly. He's got 36, 37s, 48s, 43. 37, all in runs. You add the goal kicking in, which by the looks of it here, he's been averaging 12 points a game. It's phenomenal viewing. Then you've got your attacking stats. His tackle busts, he has not gone under 8 points a game for tackle busts. He's played every single game this year. No game under 8 for tackle busts. Offloads, they've been creeping in. He's got 4 games with offloads. I think he's a slam dunk. I think I've got to have him. I'm willing to take the risk on Dylan Edwards at 920k that he's not going to play Origin. I'm taking the risk on him. He's match proof. It doesn't matter who he's playing. I don't care who they're playing. He's every chance he's going to do that regardless. Penrith will score points. Dylan Edwards will take runs. If he gets 40 points in base from that and 12 points in kicking goals, that's already 52 points for the game. Then you've got tackle bus added onto that. You know, I'm going to do it and I'm going to take a punt. I think he's a captaincy option this week up against the Warriors. The Warriors are decimated. He seems to be their focal point. Not their focal point, but they use him a lot more in attack when Nathan's out. I think he's a good bet. Taylor May, look, yeah, if you've got him, you've held on to him, keep holding on to him. Round 13, he'll be good for you. Jack Cole comes into the squad. He could be a long-time shot there. That might be worth a bit of a look at, depending on how he goes. Jerome Luai moves into the 7. Just keep an eye on Jack Cole. Obviously, Schneider is out for a long-term injury. Cleary out for a long-term injury. If Jack Cole produces quite well there, I think they'll stay with him. There is every chance that Dane Laurie comes off the bench into that starting squad, though, and gets the 6th jersey. Luke Garner, look, there's a couple of people jumping on him this week. Look, I don't love it. I think he's gonna score you some cash, but it reeks of I know Zach Hosking, unfortunate with injuries, but I think it reeks of Zach Hosking sort of areas. I'm not that keen on it. Massive negative break even, 100 games over the last 2 weeks. It'd be interesting to see where Luai and Jack Cole line up on the field. If Luai stays on the left, Cole on the right, or if they do swap that. That'll be an interesting little watch. It'll be an interesting little watch for Targo and May in the centres to see who's getting more ball. But yeah, other than that, Isaiah Yohe's been huge. Wish I got on him at the start of the year, but anyway, we will probably try and pick him up after Origin. Other than that, one to keep an eye on is Dane Laurie there. Liam Henry is out as well for those who are looking and have kept him this far into the season. Melbourne Storm up against the Parramatta Eels, second last game of the week. Suafai Logo, look, only a 40-odd from him. He is not a must bring in. I think there are better guys. We'll talk about another guy that I'm super keen on, who I already have in my side, which is very positive news for me. But Fai Logo, look, not a rush. 300-something K. He's not bottom dollar. He's worth a little bit extra. I don't think he's a rush to get in. I think there are going to be games where he's going to brain it. Absolutely. I don't think it's worth a trade with some of these guys that already have big scores like Blaze Tulagi and Dave Armstrong. I think those are guys that you're guaranteed a lot of cash generation out of them. If that's what you're looking for, Xavier Coates, he comes back into the squad from that hamstring injury. Tyron Wishart, no, do not. 80-something on the weekend. Massive negative break-even in his rolling average, but once Jerome Hughes comes back into the fray, Tyron Wishart will move back to the bench, and you'll have to spend another trade to get rid of him anyway. So I wouldn't be touching it. Plus, he had the game of his life last week. Harry Grant. Oh, I'm a salty Harry Grant owner. I'm a salty Harry Grant owner for sure. 44. Sin bin. That should have been up around 50. Plus the time he's on, he probably looks at 60. Yeah, look, I couldn't. As soon as I saw that was a sin bidding, I just thought, oh my God, the game's dead. Super embarrassing for anyone who was watching that with someone who isn't a rugby league fan. You know, us rugby league fans and players, you know, we spruik to everyone, this is the toughest game. Like, this is so tough. You wouldn't believe how tough this is when you're trying to talk to people about AFL and NFL and soccer from around the world. Different countries come over and you try and show them what rugby league is, and it, in some instances it's so tough and it's a brutal sport, and then you see shit like that and it's an absolute laughing stock. He got off the fine, he fought it, absolutely should have. So yeah, disappointing for Harry Grant owners, disappointing for the game that is sort of the way we're looking at it. I understand we've got to fix up this diving in at the legs, but brushing his leg up against Atkinson's studs is just, yeah, it's a bit of a joke. Eliesa Katoa, he got 90. Nice little day for feeder play. Scoot from dummy half. Really good to see there. Sean Blore has been ticking along nicely, working outside that edge with Munster. He will get some big attacking opportunities coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure of it. Joey Chan. Joey Chan is on the reserves. He is a sell. If you can sell Joey Chan, I'll be looking at jumping off. Look, like I said before, Helam Lukey, if you don't have cash, if you're struggling for cash generation, I think Helam Lukey probably makes a bit of money over the next couple of weeks. You can leave it a week. Joey Chan's not going down. Lukey, he's got a 50-something break even. So leave that if you wish, but that'll be one I'll be looking at going. Hopefully, Lukey improves and Joey Chan can stay there on the bench. Parramatta Eels. Look, the Parramatta Eels last week were better than what the score predicted. They took it to the Broncos. It was just the finesse of the last plays that were going on. They just couldn't handle it. Bit disappointing to see Ethan Sanders not make the squad there. Dejan Arce, obviously, they're just looking for a little bit more polish around that. I think the one who's the big winner out of this is Dylan Brown. Now, Dylan Brown, 96 last week. Round 12, no doubt he will be looking at getting duels. I think we're all pushing for Dylan Brown to have dual halfback 5'8". Supercoach did come out and say that they won't be changing anyone due to injury, but look, he'll be playing 8 to 9 games at halfback, so he will no doubt be changed. He's down 118k from what he originally was priced. 662k. I think I'm going to jump on. They perform well against Melbourne. There's a couple of things I'm going to talk about here. His break even at 46, obviously very appealing. Buy schedule, very appealing. The fact that I've still got Brooksy there, sitting in my reserves, and Dylan Brown, if they both have 5'8" halfback dual, that's just a really good opportunity that I can flick them around. Even though I'm not too keen on playing Brooks. Yeah, look, his last couple of weeks, since round 6, 7, 8, obviously the bye round 9, and then round 10, he's gone 86, 60, 64, 96. Look, head-to-head players, you sort of look for a little bit more consistency than these guys that go 160 and then go down to 30. I think that is what a Sam Walker is. I think Sam Walker is more of a guy that'll go really, really high or really, really low. If you're looking for a guy who's consistent, I think Dillbags is probably that guy. Another good thing about this is Blaze Tulagi. I think the Blaze Tulagi option is going to help Dillbags something severe. That Blaze Tulagi is a freak. His little show and go stood up Ezra Mam, got in between the gap of Ezra Mam and Pia Kura there. That was bloody beautiful to watch. He's a buy. I think he's a buy. He's still got that low game that he had in him where he come off the bench there, old Blaze. He's near bottom dollar. Where is he? Bloody hell, sorry. I'm still figuring out all this new stuff on the Supercoach app. 320k basically. He has gone up 115k, but he has a break even of -5. Talking about Suafalogo, I think he probably has a definite 2 or 3 more weeks. If he plays like he did against the Broncos, they keep talking about this X factor that they need. They found it. That was it. Couple of things there. He broke through the line, showed a bit of an experience, silly offloads, whatnot. But yeah, Blaze Tulagi looked really good. I think Dylan Brown having Dejan Arce there to take a bit of responsibility off him and having a strike weapon with Blaze Tulagi out the back, I think hold on to Dillbags, keep him in your sights, and I'm looking to bring him in at a discount of 115k. Joey Lussick, there's no Brendan Hands here, so we'll keep on to him. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Jermaine Hopgood keeps punching out 60s. If he doesn't make the Origin squad, he may be an option for us to trade in. Last game of the round, the Tigers 625 game up against the Dolphins. For the Tigers, we have got Starfatoa goes out with that hamstring injury, so Alamalo, he comes in. Lockie Galvin chugging along nicely, another 50-point game from him. Got a junk little try there at the end when the Knights were down to 12 men, so good to see. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Brent Naden still got 50, even though he got absolutely washed by Bradman Best, but I wouldn't be looking at him. Lockie Galvin, I think you will leave him in for the bye periods now. Super consistent, up around a good price now. Hopefully he can keep going up a bit more. Api Coruscant. Look, I don't think he's a sell because I just don't know who you go to. I don't think there's anyone to downgrade to. The talk about Api, I'll probably be spooking that he's 498k. He's not kicking goals. He's got Sullivan out. When Caesar comes back in, if Sullivan can kick goals for the next couple of weeks, there's every chance we'll be able to pick Api Coruscant up for Daniel Levi. So fingers crossed, next couple of weeks we can sort of make that happen. He's got a break even of 83. He's just a tick under 500k. So one to watch there over the next couple of weeks for non-Api owners. For owners, I think, look, if you can jump off and you can get onto a Jeremy Marshall King, I'd be looking at it heavily. Seyfarth and Twile come into the starting squad. I wouldn't be touching that until I know which one of them is the actual starting prop. Papali'i, he's out for a week with that tripping violation there. Samuel Afinu just got thrown around into the centres. He can't really get a decent scratch out of that 2RF spot there for the Tigers. He's getting thrown around. He's the guy that they are going to put into different positions there if there are injuries. So not a sell, but I don't think a buy. For the Dolphins, Trey Fuller owners, bad news. Well, bad news, but good news. If you can run Trey Fuller and you've bought him and you've got him as your fullback, you probably only missed 2 games out of him. I know it's a bit hard. Fullback is a stacked position. You will want to be putting that in with a player that you can trust to sort of potentially get these 100-point games. He has a break even of 21. He is 429k. Look, it's a tricky one because, like I said, if he was a CTW, you would leave him every day of the week. He will play Canberra round 13. They have the bye round 14. Oh, no, seeing that, no. He's a jump off. I thought he was going to get a few more games over the origin period. He does play round 13, 16, 19, but I don't think you can hold him for that. He'll miss the next 2 weeks with the Tigers and the Wars, come in against Canberra, and then round 14 they have a bye. I think you need to sell Trey Fuller, take your 225k from him and run. The Hammer, he's back. I wouldn't be chucking him in. Jermaine Asako, I still think he's a buy. He needs to be bought in before the bye rounds. Jack Bostock with a 60-something as well. That was pretty impressive to see. I think if you have Bostock now, keep him. Probably got to leave him there. He's not a play, although against the Tigers he could very well be a play this week. Cody Nikorima, the little devil, we talked about him last week. He's been flying. He's now 644k. He's gone up 51k from last year. Remember, he did finish the last year with an absolute ball terror. Break even of 52. Last couple of weeks, he's gone absolutely off his head. 47 on the weekend, which is a bit dour against the Manly squad. Again, that was a bludger. There was 30 to 24. There was nearly 60 points scored. And the points for the players there were bloody horrendous. Everything was coming off kicks and intercepts, so we don't judge him on that. But he's run the next 3 weeks. Tigers, Warriors, Raiders. Plays 13, 16, 19, like we've said. I think you can do worse. I think if you're looking at a guy, excuse me, he is fullback 5'8". Don't know if you would ever use that combination, but he is. Look, he's one to look at if you're thinking a bit left field and you want a 5'8" guy. If you've got a Luke Brooks or a Galvin and you're looking to get a guy that's got a bit more upside, Cody Nikorima, every bit your man. Jeremy Marshall King, yep, I'll be looking at getting him in over the next couple of weeks. These are the weeks to do it. They've got a really easy run going into that origin period. Look, other than that, we do not have a great deal. Maxi Plath, he is only out with a HIA. Do not sell that man. Keep him. A lot of people brought him in. I think he's good coverage over the origin period. You can slip him into 5'8" as well. Other than that, Joshy Kerr keeps pumping out decent minutes off the bench, but again, he is up a bit too heavily priced for what I would be going on to. Righto, legends, that is about all we've got time for. Trades. I am probably looking at Cleary and Tommy Trbojevic out. I think I'm going to run a Dill Edwards into a Dylan Brown. I think Dylan Brown, hopefully he's turned a corner. Again, Mitchell Moses not back this week. Fat chance he's playing Origin. I think he will come back into the fray over the bye periods, hopefully next week. That'll just shore up everything. A Mitch Moses, Dylan Brown, and Blaze Tulagi combination in that spine there really excites me. And Dylan Edwards, I cannot fold him. You know, there's a lot of things happen like with Asako last year. A lot of people think about their sort of pedigree, their history of Supercoach, and they think, no, I'm not going to buy him. He's got this. Without Nathan Cleary and the goal-kicking duties, he's averaging 102 points. I could see a world where I captain him as well. So that'll be my trades. Fingers crossed we can sort of punch up a little bit. Our team is looking really, really good. I'll have a little run. I'll put my team up here for everyone, but I'll have a little run of who my team is. I've been doing trades in, trades out. I haven't really revealed what my team is looking like. At hooker, we've got Harry Grant. Front row, Cotter and Curran. Second row forwards, Fafita, Eliesa Katoa and Britton Niokora. Crichton, he'll be our play on the bench there. Halfback is Nico Hines. 5'8", Dillbags. Wing centre, we've got Garrick, Val Holmes, Dom Young, Kylie Rowe, Jermaine Asako, and it'll be a toss-up who I play between Talagi and Armstrong. I've got it on Armstrong at the moment just because the Titans are decimated. Dill Edwards looking to be my captain, I think, this round. Bring him in, and Reece Walsh will be my last backup. So, yeah, we're looking pretty good. Team's looking stacked. We have burnt through way too many trades, obviously with all these injuries. Last week, hoping no trades. This week, was also hoping no trades, but not to be. We will sort all that out. We have a lot of people there, hopefully playing round 13, so hopefully we will not need to make enough trades there. But anyway, that is all from us. Thanks for keeping on board with us, guys. Another thing, our Instagram account, please go and follow that. Gave a late mail on who the trades were. If there are trades and there are injuries, we'll be giving updates on that as well. So yeah, jump on there, jump on Instagram, give us a follow. Cheers, legends. Take care.